Every night since the first gate fell, Aryan's internal clock hasn't been his own. At exactly 3:33 a.m., a searing heat radiates from the guardian symbol carved into his arm. It's a biological alarm clock, wired directly to the ancient magic he's sworn to protect. This projection shows the current state of the global magical network. The first gate has already gone dark. That leaves 6 remaining active targets for the shadow forces. Tonight, the network highlights a specific new coordinate, a remote, desolate region known as the Valley of Silence. Reaching the valley takes hours of trekking through dense forest, but you know exactly when you cross the boundary. The wind completely stops. The birdsong cuts out. No words leave their mouths. The atmosphere absorbs every decibel of human noise as Aryan and Zara try to speak. Aryan immediately grips his sword, bracing for a physical ambush, but there are no monsters waiting in the trees. Instead, he collides with a shimmering, invisible wall of magical energy. His blade is entirely useless against a barrier made out of localized silence. In this valley, the standard rules of engagement have evaporated. Aryan's grip on his sword remains tight, but his physical training has no target to strike. The source of that invisible barrier isn't a spell, it's a colossal stone titan. Standing dormant for centuries, the sheer mass of its awakening shakes the valley floor. Dust and ancient vines shear off as golden eyes snap open. But the titan doesn't attack, it kneels. Driving an enormous hand into the earth, it projects 3 glowing elemental symbols across the ground: fire, water, and wind. It demands a choice, initiating a sacred trial of intellect. Aryan studies the intricate runic carvings embedded in the surrounding rocks. Connecting the historical texts to the valley's unnerving stillness, he deliberately places his hand on the water symbol. A massive wave of blue energy floods the terrain. The titan bows its head, and the second gate is securely sealed. You barely get a moment to process the victory. Far on the horizon, dense, unnatural black storm clouds begin rapidly accelerating toward their position. The magical network instantly reacts to the sealed gate by triggering the next sequence of threats. The Titan's challenge highlights a pattern. By bypassing the sword and testing the mind, the valley guards itself against anyone who relies solely on aggression. The clear sky is swallowed by a violent, silent lightning storm. Standing at the peak is the Storm Warden, an imposing figure clad in silver and blue armor, gripping a spear crackling with raw electrical energy. To reach the next gate, the Warden forces them to cross a massive, bottomless canyon. He raises his spear, and a terrifying, unstable bridge of pure blue electrical energy vaults across the chasm. Every step on this structure sends violent shocks through the air. The drop isn't the primary danger. Halfway across, the storm actively mines their memories. Hyper-realistic, emotional illusions materialize directly on the bridge. Aryan sees his father pleading for him to return, while Zara faces the phantom of her lost sister reaching out from the edge. Engaging with these visions means falling to certain death. Aryan and Zara have to shut their eyes completely. They rely entirely on their grip on each other, moving blindly through the storm until their boots hit solid rock on the other side. The Storm Warden smiles, presenting a radiant golden crystal that pulses with the same resonance as the previous markers. This ancient system weaponizes a person's deepest emotional vulnerabilities. Navigating the 7 gates requires confronting your own unresolved grief while standing on the edge of a literal cliff. The mountains abruptly give way to a blinding expanse of golden sand. Protruding directly from the dunes are hundreds of towering glass monoliths. The sunlight bounces wildly between them, creating an endless, disorienting maze of reflections known as the Desert of Mirrors. A guardian in crystalline armor steps out from the glass itself. This is the Mirror Keeper. He lays out a strict condition. The path to the 4th gate will only reveal itself to someone willing to speak their absolute, unfiltered truth. The Keeper demands to know Aryan's greatest fear. He doesn't mention death or the dark forces. Instead, Aryan admits a paralyzing dread that he is going to fail the people standing right next to him. A brilliant white light floods the desert, accepting his honesty. But the triumph is brief. every single mirror suddenly reflects the exact same colossal, shadowy entity staring back at them. The shadow whispers a warning, and instantly the thousands of towering mirrors violently shatter into millions of pieces. As the crystal dust settles, thick black smoke curls out of the sand. It forms a distinct, hovering message. The fifth gate is already opening. The dark forces aren't following Aryan's path. They are utilizing a parallel route and operating one step ahead. What began as a methodical, puzzle-solving expedition is now a desperate, high-speed race to intercept the enemy before they secure the board. Aryan's compass leads them straight into a buried, forgotten city beneath the desert. At the very center of the ruins lies a massive, eerily quiet grand hall, dominated by an empty golden throne. Floating directly above the seat is an ancient, jagged black crown. It emits a suffocating aura, violently crackling with intense crimson and black magical lightning. It pulls Aryan forward like a magnet. Before he can reach it, the hall rapidly fills with dense black smoke. The masked betrayer materializes from the shadows, immediately flanked by dozens of silent, vaporous warriors. They completely surround the throne. Both Aryan and the betrayer lunge for the artifact simultaneously. Aryan's glowing blue broadsword collides head-on with the betrayer's waves of crimson magic. The resulting kinetic explosion shakes the very foundation of the ancient city. But the crown yields to neither of them. Radiating a surge of dark energy, the corrupt legacy of the first king forcefully repels both fighters and escapes through a rift in the ceiling. It answers only to a higher, unseen authority. The artifact's exit triggers a massive localized earthquake. The stone floor beneath the golden throne violently splits open, revealing that the fifth gate was hidden directly underneath them the entire time. A radiant spiritual entity emerges from the newly exposed gate. It presents Aryan with a devastating ultimatum. To manually seal this specific doorway, he must permanently surrender exactly half of his own life force. Zara begs him to stop, knowing they still have 2 gates ahead of them. Aryan ignores the protest. He grips his glowing weapon, but instead of striking an enemy, he drives his blade deep into the stone, channeling a massive portion of his own biological energy out of his body and into the earth. Furious at losing the objective, the betrayer tears open a smoky, dark portal to escape. Before vanishing, he leaves Aryan with a chilling promise. The first king is fully prepared to return. As the gate seals shut, the spiritual guardian hands Aryan an ancient stone tablet. The glowing runes form a map to the next coordinate, pointing them straight toward a notoriously hostile environment, the frozen kingdom of ice. Miles away, deep within a glacial fortress, someone is already waiting. Sitting silently upon a throne of jagged ice, a hulking armored figure stirs. Glowing, icy blue eyes ignite beneath a dark helm, anticipating the guardian's arrival. The cost of holding the line is becoming clear. To keep the gates sealed, Aryan is forced to trade away his own strength, one piece at a time.